Hey YouTube, I got a question for all you guys. If you had $40 exactly and you mowed lawns and you needed a weed whacker for God knows whatever reason, maybe you killed yours, whatever. Yes, I have plenty of them that work, but I'm obsessed with small engines. And let's say you get a machine that's on sale for $36 on clearance, but it's brand new. This original price was $149. I got this for $37.22 on clearance, brand new. And yes, it is a two-stroke, but these little basic trimmers, I mean, they'll run for 15 years if you take care of them. I have the straight shaft model of this. That one I got for about the same price. And now I have a curved shaft and a straight shaft of this. So I have a comparison of what we can do. Might try to unbox it here with you if I can. Yeah, $37.22 on clearance at Lowe's. So you landscapers who may not want to spend a lot of money on cheap shit, if you have like $400, get a whole pallet's worth. I mean, whatever you don't want to use, like take 3 or 4 of them. You know, if you're mowing 12 lawns a day, you're going to need a few of them for your crew. Or if you're doing it by yourself even if it's a dozen lawns a day. Keep at least 4 of them in hand, and whatever else you don't sell, meaning whatever else you don't use, out of the pallets worth, sell them. You know, you could have a couple $1,000s in trimmers, you know, and sell them for what they were, you know, like sell them for $100 each, you know, 110. You know, I personally, if I had a pallet's worth of these, I'd sell them for 150 each, because that's what they are now. You're probably thinking, holy shit, why are they 150? Well, because they are now. It's Biden prices. So, yeah, I also have a straight shaft like this. It's fairly new. I bought it brand new last year, late last summer. And, see if we can... Lovely. Let's see if we can open her up, huh? Alright. Quite simple to get it out. I just take that out. This here is your trimmer piece. It's your trimmer piece, you know, curved shaft, brand new. Price is right, sort of deal. And we got the power head, which has the engine and everything else, all attached to this. Looks like the guard's in here. The handle should be in here too. It is beneath that. We'll just pull that off. Here's the brand new shiny bling bling. The brand new engine, never had gas in it. Beautiful and shiny. Alright. We'll just set this down for a minute. Shit. It's not light either. I mean, for an engine, it's got some weight for a two-stroke. You'd rather have those heavy-duty ones that last you, you know? And no, these are not Chinese. They're actually Mexican. American and Mexican, depending on what model you buy. People are probably like, well, where do you get those? Well, you get them at Lowe's. You're probably like, how the hell do you get American stuff from Lowe's and Mexican stuff there? Well, they do carry it. You just got to pay attention to what brand you're buying. Sadly, it seems like the cheaper shit anymore seems to be better. Like, unless you're buying a Husqvarna where it's made in Sweden, don't do it. Personally, I prefer steel over Husqvarna any day. Yeah, I have a brand new $500 Husqvarna trimmer and I love it. But, and I also have a $500 Husqvarna backpack blower that's going on 10 years of age. The thing is, since that's going on, I mean, it runs fine. Even though it's 10 years old, you know, parts are starting to wear on it. I do use ethanol-free gas, so, you know, that's all I use. You know, I only use ethanol-free gas. However, I did burn out the spark plug on it. Meaning the plug, like physically burn the spark plug, like it welded. Like, I never saw a spark plug liquefied before. And that's just how hard I was pushing the son of a bitch. To give you an idea. So, there's screws in the bottom of this that we have to run in. But otherwise, it's good. As you see the brand new engine here. And I think it's, can't tell you what, doesn't say what ratio it is. We'll just make sure my throttle works, that does. Make sure your throttle works, make sure your chuck moves. Does, make sure your primer moves. See your engine turns. It does. That's one thing you want to check on these before you assemble these, make sure your engine turns over. Being a cheap unit, want to make sure your engine's not locked up with like a broken ring or something and they send it out and it did it afterwards. It does turn over, so we're good. Yeah, so I have the bl110. I think the other one's like a bl160 or whatever. Just an MTD brand. But I really like the color on these. I like the yellow and black. I think they're amazing colors. Like I said, they're built pretty decently. They're not, you know... The plastic is decent. It doesn't bend up like some others. Yeah, so... Right now, I'm going to set you down. I'm going to put the handle on. And I'm going to... You know what? I may not be able to. Shit, hang on. I have to get the screws out. I have to open this up. Give me a minute. Get all the stuff out of it. I have my guard. I have my handle. And I believe it comes with 2-stroke oil. So, it might be good there to make a gas oil mix. I think it's in a tube versus a bottle. I think it's cheaper nowadays. Yeah, we do have 2-stroke oil. And we have the hardware. So, let me tell you something. It's going to come in your screws are going to come in a bag like this. Rubber banded on. Just pull that off. Very simple and straightforward. It's really not that damn complicated. Unless you're a total waterhead, then don't buy a gas one. Because you'll probably seize it if you don't put oil in it. Okay, just gonna get the screws out. Alright. And another thing they updated on, which I like now, is these are Phillips heads. The last couple I had Torx bits and they didn't work worth a shit. So, hopefully they work. I have an owner's manual. This here's your 2-stroke oil in this pouch. Take that out. It's 50 to 1, never mind. They used to be 40 to 1. I guess they updated the engine technology a bit. So this is a pretty expensive synthetic shit. I mean, you really can't get it at the store otherwise. And this here so you can hang it up, you know, if you need to. But this is what you do is you snip the top off of this. You dump this in the gas can with the gas. You then dump a little gas. I have a special sized gas can with a special sized nozzle so it will fit in here. You then pinch this and you shake the inner shit out of it and get all the extra oil out of it. And then your ratio, and then once you get the extra oil washed off the bag, you then dump the additional oil into your pre-existing mix. Will help a lot with your ratio. Believe it or not, your ratio isn't right unless you do that. Unless you put not only the 2-stroke oil from the pouch in it, I don't care if it's a 2-stroke bottle or what the fuck it is. You dump in whatever you have, and then you put a little gas in there and you shake it to wash the extraterrestrial shit off. And when you dump that little additional mix in, you'll see how dark it is, and you'll see the ratio is just right. And then your equipment will last for 20 years, you know. But people, that's what's wrong today. They don't know shit like that. Some people don't even know that this is oil. Seems like 99.9% of these come back in at Lowe's for they're like $5-10 because where I live, it's a lot. It's like a hellbilly town. It's like a town of idiots where I live. It's like a fucking circus clowns. Where I live at Lowe's here, where I live, the Lowe's by me is loaded with pre-owned equipment. All store returns. There's more store fucking returns than there is and there is new shit outside. It's anything under the sun. And you know what the big problem is? People either don't maintain it and they think it's junk and they want to take it back because people are fucking stupid, or they don't run enough oil or no oil at all and they lock these up solid. It's one of the two. So I know to put oil because I do small engine repair. So, and you know what my obsession is? Two-stroke lawn boys. But anything two-stroke I really like. But lawn boys are my favorite. Someone just gave me a commercial one a couple months ago. Actually, a year ago. I had the damn thing for a year. So, by the way, when your guard goes on, it's going to be in this position. So, I'm going to show you how to do this. It's quite simple. Like I said, you just... Hang on. Put the damn thing off. So... This has to be slipped on. It's really not that big of a damn deal. Again, you're going this way. But we're gonna lift her up. They go in here. Make sure it goes in here or you won't get it in right. And once we get the weight on it, then we can run it in, you know. Damn it. Right now it's just hanging by a thread because I don't have it bolted down yet. Right now what I'm trying to do is get this beast to line up with this. And then once you get the weight on it, set it down. The weight of the machine will actually hold it. And now what we gotta do is line this up. Okay, when lined up, it should look straight like this. Make sure your washer goes like that. I can only do it with one hand. I would hold the camera and show you everything otherwise. Let's tighten this down. And now the guard is on. And this is what it should look like from the back, and I'll show you. We're soon gonna fasten the shaft here, but this is what it should look like from the back. Alright, the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna grab, I don't even have tools in here for, I'll have to check. I might or might not. Yes, I do. Alright, so I just keep some shit tools in my trailer. It's a pigsty. I know, I gotta, you see, where I live by a gated community. My landlord's a shitty landlord. He won't let me throw anything out. So, oh yeah, he's controlling. You have no idea. This is my place. I own it. And I own the property part way, but I own a small section of the property anyways. He owns part and I own part. The rest I rent. And he doesn't let me do regular garbage runs. Like, he doesn't let me put it up by the street. So my mom lives in a gated community where they take the garbage for free. So I have to bag all this shit up, take it all the way in my car, no matter how bad it stinks. And, yep, and drive it all the way over there. And it's 35 minutes from here. It's a good 35 minutes. Sometimes it's an hour, depending on traffic. So you can just imagine my life. The only thing I like is that I'm living on my own. Other than that, it's not a benefit. Trust me. It sucks growing up. I'm telling you, when you grow up, everything's expensive. And that's just the way it fucking is. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So right now, running in this one screw. So this is gonna come up like this. You're gonna have a Phillips head screw, and you're gonna have an additional one right here, which I'm gonna put in. Make sure you use both of them. Once in a while you get a shitty hole in these where they're kind of, the threads are kind of shitty, but I don't see that problem with this one. I seem to do it every time with these. I can't tell you how many dozens of these I owned. I've owned multiple weed whackers over the years. I mean, I'm talking like I'm a big time landscaper as well as small engines, but I mean like big time. Like I don't even need a job because I make such stupid money. But the only problem is trying to line these up. But the thing is, I make so much money I don't need to. I'm constantly buying shit like this to do reviews on. Okay, once it's tight, it should look like this with both, not one but two of them. Okay, so next we gotta do the handle, which is this right here. That right there. What I don't like is that the plastic seems to scrape away part of the powder coat on the shaft, and these things like old and beat up the moment you use them, but hey, you get what you pay for, right? So, as you see, it's intact. Right now, I'm just going to hold this down gently and I have to bend the shit out of it. I'm going to pull this, and hopefully our head spins. Yes, our head spins, alright. You just want to make sure all that shit's aligned, it all settles in. And, most people with these engines say, oh no, these are Welch plugs. These are not Welch plugs. In fact, they mark these. These are actually mixture screws, and they do come out. But they did away. The only thing they did away to save the troubles with the spring. They did away with the spring. So here's your high, and here's your low. That is key when you're breaking in an engine. If you're not, and I have the full it's a little Pac-Man head, as you see. They call it a Pac-Man head mixture screw. And my other one did not have this. That's how quickly these changed and how much they've changed. I have some gas. We're going to make a mix. We're going to fire it up and see what happens, but take it outside, obviously. But I'm going to have to sit you down because I'm going to have to pull the inner shit out of this to get it on, and I'm worried about it. It's going to scratch right here, and it's going to make a big fucking mess. It's going to screw it all up and make it look like it's 30 years old, but it is what it is. Like the Husqvarnas and the Echoes and the Steels, and I have a lot of steel product, a lot of new shit. I have a brand new steel chainsaw. I think it's the baseline is $300 for a steel chainsaw. It's way better than buying anything in combined. It really is though. It's just way fucking better, you know. Because if you go with anything else, it's a big fucking pain in the ass. You know, they make it fucking difficult for you if you buy anything else. You see, with the Husqvarna, they don't make anywhere near the power of the steel, so... Oh, fuck. Give me a minute, I'm gonna have to fight this to get it on. It's already scratching the inner bitch out of it. Damn it. See if I go the other fucking way, huh? Yeah, it looks appropriate. Mm-hmm. How did you do that, huh? Somehow or another, I did not scratch the living hell out of this. I don't know how I didn't do it. That's all the farther it's going to go with this model. That's how much these models changed in the past year. Every year, they slightly change. They seem to be adding advantages. They make a heavier spring in here, so you got to accelerate a little harder now. But they used to have a clutch on these. They don't have that anymore. Kind of like a weed eater now. Those weed eater feather lights. Let me tell you something. I love those weed eaters. I used to buy them when they were on clearance at Walmart. When they were like $5, $10. I used to buy a dozen of them at a time. So you're probably laughing like, what the fuck? You saying that it's $5 or $10 for those? They were. They were just trying to get rid of them because they were gonna stop making them. Little did I know, they were like $15.99, and people were buying them by the hundreds. People were buying by the pallet full and selling them for like profits. And some of these people have $40,000-$50,000 now. You know what I mean? Because they're buying like 6 or 7 pallets of freaking trimmers, brand new ones yet. At the time that they were, because the original price was valued at over $100 some. So yeah, when you add tax to it and shit like that, it really goes up. So they were $120 at the time. So I love those little weed eater feather lights. They were easy to use. They had perfectly adjustable screws on the mixture, just like this. They were direct drive, just like this. There was no clutch to go wrong. You're asking yourself, why would you not want a clutch? I'll tell you why. Because you can idle and this thing will cut like a madman. You don't really have to hit the gas hard. That's the secret with those weed eaters. So many people discriminated them and bitched about them and made fun of them, but you could idle and you could cut. I mean, you didn't have to hit the gas when they had throttle, which saved hours on your engine because they didn't run as hot. And if you ran an extra mix like I did, they'd still be running. So yeah, very well built for what they were. They were American. They were actually made by Husqvarna. The American version of Husqvarna, but yeah. So when your trimmer's together, as you see how thick that shaft is, this is bigger than the last one I had. So yeah, should look just like this. Just up to the bottom point here where you can read your instructions, and so some dumbass some hillbilly doesn't get drunk and rev it up and try to kill someone with it. So when you go to jail because you kill someone, don't blame me. Don't say I didn't show you these instructions. People are just fucking idiots, that's what it is. But I had a bunch of weed eater feather lights over the years. There's a hardware store 5 minutes up the street. They used to carry them for like $59.95 for $60, and I used to buy 2 or 3 of them at the time. And you only get a couple of years out of them. I mean, cheap as they were, I used to use the living inner bitch out of them. I mean, I used to freaking mow fields with them. And believe me, they take a beating if you ran extra oil. If you ran ethanol-free gas and extra oil, they ran and they ran and they ran. You get about 3 years out of them, which is pretty damn good, considering I bought 3 new ones at the time. They all got about an equal amount of use, so they all pretty much failed at the same time. They ran for 3 years, and what happened with them was the enemy on them was the needle bearing on the crank pin journal was so freaking poorly made. It's such cheap metal that it would wear so bad that the piston would overstroke and actually hit the spark plug. When I first moved into my mom's house, it was all weed eater equipment. When they moved, it was all fairly new shit. Well, the mower was brand new. The weed eater mower was brand new. It was, had an old flathead Briggs on it, air vane governor. Back when shit, was still flathead, before it was all overhead valve garbage, which I really loved those flatheads. And that thing ran a good 10 years. And one day, even with a good, what happened to it was why they left it, because it had a bent crankshaft. Yeah, it ran for 10 years, but even though it had a bent crank and it rattled all over and it was like a massage trying to use it. But what I was gonna say, after that, what happened was, even though the flywheel key was fine, it would kick back and it would blow a little oil. It would squirt oil vapor right up the carburetor. So not only were the rings completely shot, and the cylinder was absolutely gone, but Not only that, but the valve seats were just gone. So I threw that mower out because we had to clean up. We used to do cleanups. We don't do that in the development anymore. I used to go to the cleanups and look for old lawn boys, and I used to find a dozen of them at a time because, like I said, I collect them, and I can't tell you how many old lawn boys I found, like old, like 1958 old. So, because the development we started was started in the early 60s, and I guess people who previously moved in there had older mowers to begin with at the time. Some very old, and I guess whatever you found. Yeah, so it was all clean up, and you could take whatever you wanted. They didn't give a shit. So I must have took a half a dozen lawn boys. For the ones that ran, for the ones that weren't seized were good, but I still have a couple. I have a 58 auto mower. I have that I found in that pile, believe it or not. We're talking like it's a park. It was a small parking lot with the park there, and that's what they did to clean up. And I mean, if you can imagine a parking lot the size of a football field, it's like that, and it was just full of push mowers. I mean, not just lawn boys. I mean, anything from all different years under the sun, and it was a good way to fix and sell because they actually the dumpsters were so full one year they couldn't fill it. It was not only full of mostly mowers and other garbage, appliances, whatever the hell, scrap metal, whatever. But not only that, the parking lot, they were honoring people that took them and to fix them. Because a lot of these worked just fine. A lot of it, is a carburetor issue with these old ones, where the points are gone, or I mean, old shit I've never seen before. And yeah, I only ever grabbed the lawn boys, but yeah, there were weed whackers and all kinds of weird ass shit. I mean, there were tractors. I mean, if you were looking for something, they had it. It was all free. You could just take it. It was like galore of a junkyard. I mean, it took like freaking... I forget if it was 6 dumpsters, full-size dumpsters, tractor-trailer-sized dumpsters or whatever, to get all of them out of there. I probably should have taken more than 100 of them and sold half, and I would have had money. That was 10 years ago. But like I said, the weed eater died. The weed eater push mower died, and that's when I threw it out. And I scavenged a bunch of lawn boys. And at the time, I had just enough money to go out and buy a brand new mower. And it was back when Sears still existed, and Sears was having a big sale on brand new mowers. And it was the very, very first year for the overhead valve engine, the 125cc overhead valve Briggs that we know today. And on most basic mowers, but it wasn't even the most basic. I mean, it was a mulching mower. It was like it was $190. It was right under $200. It was $10 under $200, and it ran for, I don't know, about 5-6 years. And it was before I used non-ethanol gas, and eventually it started having carburetor issues, where it would run for all of 10 minutes and shut off and stop getting fuel, and I pull the carburetor and clean it and I'd do it fucking again, even though I drained the gas and put fresh in. And I'm just like, fuck it. And I put it up for sale on Facebook Marketplace for like $50, and someone bought it. And at the time, all the money I was making, I had so many other mowers at the time, but once again, I went out and bought a new one. Even though you have the lawn boys, you can't count on them. I mean, you can't use them every 2 weeks, especially the older ones, if you restore them like I do. You ruin their value. You're not supposed to use them. In fact, anything from 1972 lawn boy related is not supposed to be used. It should be on a shelf, restored, on display. Considering how much fucking filthy, stinking rich they can make you with the amount of money they're worth. Right now, I am going to pause this video and make a part 2 on this, but you've seen it assembled. Again, it's a bolens bl110 25cc 2-stroke. So if you I'm going to make a gas oil mix. I'm going to fire it up with you guys once I get the gas in it. But we'll go from there. We'll see.